Alright folks, good morning. You are watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Monday. What is it? May 27th, 2024. Another windy Monday on Polderbaan. Took the blimp out today for the occasion. Also trying the Zoom remote control that Lambert gave to me midstream during the weekend. So I'm trying a new setup now with zooming from a remote control, which you can also use to fine-tune the speed of zoom. Go fast, go slow. There's a little bit of crosswind, as you guys can see. This is El Al flight 337 777-200 arriving from Tel Aviv, 4 hours and 14 minutes underway. There's also a tractor coming this way. Pilot Sander also in the chat on screen. He's busy recording. We have Gary Grebe over there. Did not see him yesterday, but today he is here. The mother ducker. Very good morning to everybody who has joined us in the meantime. Outbound traffic also passing overhead. Still visible. Well, if it's not going behind clouds, that is. Yeah, that was a 737. Now, next up is number 175 arriving from Southampton. KLM flight 1068, 51 minutes on the way, the PHEXT. 6 years old, first flight January 2018. A little bit of sudden zoom out. Still getting used to using that gadget that I got from Lambert last weekend. Basically a remote that allows you to fine-tune your zoom. Also got it placed on one of the tripod legs so I don't have to reach over the camera. So ergonomically much less straining for the shoulder. Next up, Air Canada flight 808 arriving from Toronto. 777-300 6 hours and 35 minutes on the way. 16 years old this one. First flight July 2007. there a butt shot coming in? I think there is. It's Canadian boot shot to butt. Butt shot to boot. Well, take in that beautiful bum. Canada's finest. Now next up we have an A321 arriving from Gatwick. BA Euroflyer flight 2540. Is there anything visible behind it already? Don't think there is. There's an E2 Embraer 190 arriving from Zurich that is supposedly turning base now, which I'm not yet seeing. Let's just focus on what we can see then. Very good morning to everybody who has joined already. You're watching Amos Live. See that I accidentally switched to autofocus for Gary Green. Focus dance, not anymore. Right, let us turn back. Helvetic Airways. Up next, the E2 Embraer. Just turning onto the glide slope. Flight 724, 1 hour and a minute on the way. An E2 Embraer 190, so not a 95, but a 190. 3 years old, first flight June 2020. A very good morning to everybody who has joined already. Also a big thank you to Aphrodite for 11 months of continuing membership. Next month green, I hope. Well, unless I change the colors, that should be the case. Thank you so much for your continued support and everything you've been doing as a moderator since you've become one. Hope you still like it in the lounge. Now, in terms of traffic, there's an Airbus A319 arriving from London Luton flying base, which should be turning in pretty soon. Although I'm not seeing it visually yet. I think the clouds are in the way a little. Also 777-300 arriving from Johannesburg, which looks like it is going to be the third airplane. Right, a little bit of crabbing. Still comfortable, cool, If the fabric starts to wear out, do let me know. So an E2 Embraer 190, not an E2 Embraer 195, the ones KLM flies. Still looks pretty much the same, probably a bit shorter then. Bit shorter. Massive see-through engines. Swiss butt shot. Also a big thank you to Lois for 6 months of membership, 6 months of planes, ducks and fire trucks. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your continued support, Lois. For you too, I hope everything is still comfy in the lounge. Do let me know if something isn't to your liking. Well, speaking of the fire trucks, the doors are shut. I haven't seen anybody yet. Ah, now he sees me. Pilot Sander, also over there. Yeah, great minds think alike. Now, oh, that mother ducker just ducked under. Duck under. I thought there was another one over there. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. Alrighty, 2 airplanes on the glide slope. EasyJet flight 22517, arriving from London Luton, A319. That's the first one, 15 years old, first flight June 2008. The second one is KLM flight 592, 777-300 arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa. 10 hours and 28 minutes underway. The airplane's 7 years old, the PH-BVS. First flight was in February 2017. My neighbor is in the chat as well. Nice. Sander probably already saw that I'm also having. I have a monitor now. Does make the setup a bit more susceptible to the wind, but it is nice to have a big screen to watch everything on. Has to be said. Though I'm not necessarily sure that, even though it is 1600 nits, that the brightness is brighter than that of my camera screen. I think it is a keeper. Right, so the first airplane to arrive is the EasyJet A319 arriving from London Luton. After that it is the 777-300 arriving from Johannesburg, KLM. Right, so big picture wise, as you guys can see, cloudy, but nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe some rain later in the day. For now, in the upcoming hours, should stay dry mostly, if not completely. Saw that landing there. Hadi Marissa, goedemorgen. And all others who have joined in the meantime. Han also back in the chat, good morning. Bart, goedemorgen. DJ Meesters, goedemorgen. Nice clouds in the distance, east of me. Is that Jinshin? Or is that Daisy? That's Daisy. Wah, wah. Our next airplane to arrive is KLM flight 1402, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. "44 minutes on the way. BXE, 24 years old, first flight April 2000. Captain Eddie Bos and Andian also back in the chat. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Good evening. I'm not fully convinced that the remote zoom thingy works better than just having my hand on the camera. But again, I have been filming like that for, what is it, 1.5 years or so by now, so I have gotten used to it. Let's see, 2 narrow bodies and then the 777 from privilege style, flying for Surinam. Sadly not the A340 today, but a 777-200 arriving from Paramaribo. The first 2 narrow bodies are an Embraer 175 arriving from Prague and an A320neo arriving from London Gatwick. Alrighty, next up is the A320neo from EasyJet, arriving from London Gatwick. 43 minutes on the way. Brand new airplane, began flying in March this year. And in the background is Privilege Style flying for Surinam, arriving from Paramaribo. 777-200 Right, so Privilege Style flying for Surinam Airways. Flight 994 arriving from Paramaribo. Sadly no A340 but a boring 777-200ER. And the registration in Spanish, EC Mua. Muahaha. The airplane is 22 years old, first flight June 2001. SAS A320neo in the background behind it. The airplane in the background turning in though is a 737-800 from Croatian, arriving from Zagreb. Let's try the remote gizmo again. Experimenting a little bit. Following one landing with the remote, the other just with the hand on the zoom rocker as I've always been doing. Another solid landing. Still no activity at the fire station by the looks of it. Alright, our next airplane to arrive is SAS Flight 1553, arriving from Stockholm, an A320neo, 1 hour 44 minutes underway, 7 years old, first flight November 2016. The airplane behind it is Croatian Airlines, Flight 450, arriving from Zagreb today. Not an Airbus, but a 737-800. That's interesting, normally it's almost always an Airbus. Turning in from the left, now number 3 is EasyJet A320 arriving from Birmingham. Ham. Tippy-toey. Nice combo shot. And up next is Alba Star. Ah, that explains it. Alba Star flying for Croatia. Arriving from Zagreb, flight 450. Landing lights on the number 2 just went on. That is an A320 EasyJet arriving from Birmingham. Tarom flight 361 looks like is going to be the number 3, arriving somewhere from the right in the background, not yet visible as far as I can see. Alba start flying for Croatia, arriving from Zagreb, 737-800. 1 hour 40 minutes underway. Hey, firefighters in the background. Well, you know what's coming in a few moments. Now on the scale of chimney smoke, this is what the wind looks like, blowing from the southwest. Got the blimp with me today because of the wind speed. No wind rumble like yesterday. Wind is similar, although now from the southwest, yesterday from the southeast. This is EasyJet flight 27842 arriving from Birmingham. It's an A320, 48 minutes underway. The HBJXB, Swiss registered, 12 years old, first flight March 2012. Alrighty. And good morning, David, who is watching the stream for the humor and the foul language. Yeah, still not demonetized. Keep doing my best to get demonetized. Do my utmost best to help this channel to the ground, but still to no avail. Gary Grebe, at least back in the chat today. In the stream, I should say, not in the chat. Jinshin enters in the chat. Gary just ducks under. Tarum arriving from Bucharest, flight 361. Right, the remote is very sensitive, so sometimes I go very quickly, sometimes it slows down a little bit. The next airplane to arrive is going to arrive from Paris, Charles de Gaulle. Air France flight 1444. Well, that's Daisy. In the background we have TUI flight 387 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. And somewhere behind that, and I'm not sure if we were able to see it already, there's a 777-200 turning in, arriving from San Francisco. I don't think we can see it due to the clouds. After this airplane has landed, two heavies back to back. Let's quickly turn back. TUI flight 387 is about to land, and the 777 behind it from San Francisco now also visible. So TUI flight 387, the first airplane on the glide slope right now. 7878 PHTFJ, 9 years old, first flight January 2015. The airplane behind it is United Airlines flight 968 arriving from San Francisco, 777-200. And after that, an A320neo arriving from Prague. Right. Next up is going to be United. United flight 968 arriving from San Francisco, 777-200 ER. The November 217 Uniform Alpha, 23 years old, first flight July 2000, 9 hours 42 minutes underway. And thank you so much, Per, for your super chat. Buy a raincoat, rain is coming, rain is closing in. Is that so? Looking behind me, it still looks okay. Let's have a look at the weather and all the stuff in a moment. After the landing. 9 hours 43 minutes on the way, this airplane. First flight was in July 2000. This is where the wind is coming from. Still looks pretty decent. while the next airplane is gradually coming this way, an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Prague. Let's do an update of the current status quo, shall we? Starting off with the METAR, let's do a refresh. So the wind is blowing from the west-southwest and has increased to 12 knots or 4/4. Scattered clouds at 2,200 feet. The air temperature is 16 degrees Celsius. No significant changes expected. Visibility is 9+ kilometers. Runway use still the same. We're standing over here, only runway 4 arrivals. And what's the weather radar saying? This is the past hour? No, this is the 3-hour anticipation. We should be good here. That's good. Let me also update the ticker with the METAR in a moment. First, the touchdown. The EasyJet A320neo arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. Little butt shot in the making. A quick paste of the latest weather report in the ticker, passing by right now. For those of you who are unfamiliar with METAR speak, let me also take you through it after this landing. First up, KLM flight 1772 on E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Berlin, Germany, of course. 1 hour and 2 minutes underway, the PH NXN, 2 years old, first flight January 2022. Photobomb by K1, VW bird control. Right, a refresh of the ticker for a fresh scroll of the METAR for you guys. This is a report of the 27th, 7:55 Zulu time, that's 9:55 Central European time, so that's 30 minutes ago. There should be a new report in a few minutes. It starts with wind speed 12 knots, 240 degrees, wind direction variable between 210 degrees and 270 degrees. The visibility is 10+ kilometers, scattered clouds at 2,200 feet, the air temperature 16 degrees Celsius, dew point 12 degrees Celsius. And the air pressure is 1,016 hectopascals. Alrighty, Captain Wheelie? No. Would have been bonkers with wind like today, but it did look a little bit like it in the beginning. Yeah, I'm not expecting any significant wheelies today. And that's where you're wrong, Marissa. I'm absolutely doing this as a hobby, but absolutely with the intention of growing it big enough to provide an income out of it. If it doesn't work out, I'll just as easily pull the plug at some point in the future. But it is absolutely something that I like doing. Otherwise, wouldn't be at it for such a long period of time and spend so much time doing it. Our next airplane is KLM flight 741, arriving from Cartagena. It is a Dreamliner 7879. I'm also hearing, I thought I heard a helicopter or something. Oh no, it's just the outbound airplane passing overhead. KLM flight 741. 8 hours and 55 minutes on the way. And the next airplane just becoming visible through the clouds behind it. KLM flight 598, 777-300ER, arriving from Cape Town. Thomas Walter asks, is your king still flying sometimes? Absolutely. He has a pilot's license, so he has to fulfill the requirements to stay current, which means fixed number of flights and landings and whatnot. Unless the PHGOV or whatever airplane he is piloting really slows down, we should be able to see him sometimes, but don't count on it. I've tried using power zoom on the PHGOV, assuming that he is one of the pilots. So far, did not manage to see anybody. Maybe if it were to take off from this runway and we were standing on the other side, they would use the entry where we are standing right in line with. But then still, I don't think, nah, you always have the reflections of the glass. What's that? Air Baltic? Yeah, Air Baltic. Right. Let's turn back. Our next airplane is arriving from Cape Town, South Africa, KLM flight 598. This 777-300ER, the PHBVB, has been flying for 11 hours on the dot now and is 16 years old according to Flight Radar. First flight was in March 2008, making this 2 months younger than Choc-y and Orange Pride. Remote works well to really slowly zoom in and keep the airplane more or less the same size as it is moving away. Definitely has its advantages. This is what the what it looks like in looking in the direction of the wind. There's also a truck standing here, or van I should say. The dude is checking something. And there's the Air Baltic that we saw take off just now. Also trying to work out the modus operandi to use that remote that is fixed on one of my tripod legs while following overhead traffic. A320 from Lufthansa up next, arriving from Frankfurt, flight 988. It is in the Star Alliance livery and is touching down after 46 minutes of flight. The airplane is 11 years old and had its first flight in June 2012. Alrighty. Hey there, John. Morning or evening for you. Hope all is well. Goedemorgen, Peter. Good weather to do some spotting. Well, yes and no. Truth be told, I'm standing here with my hoodie on and it is actually a bit chilly, dare I say it. Yeah. Evelyn also in the chat. Goedemorgen. Piet, goedemorgen. Next up, two 737s. The first one is a 700, the second one is an 800. This one is arriving from Copenhagen. The next one from Transavia will be arriving from Alba. Right. We've got another heavy coming in after the 737 from Transavia from Alba has landed, and it is Delta Airlines flight 74 arriving from Atlanta. Sadly not the A350. I think the only A350 we're expecting today is the Corendon arriving from Curacao. Evan, is challenging me. Can you read out loud my previous message? Oh dear. ¿Qué tal mis amigos europeos, asiáticos, latinoamericanos, oceánicos? Top of the morning, buenos dias. Oh, you must be laughing so hard now. As if my Dutch accent in English isn't bad enough. This must have sounded very amusing. Buenos dias to you, Evan, and hope you're doing well, mate. Delta Airlines Flight 74. Arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, A330-300, 7 hours and 50 minutes underway, 20 years old, first flight June 2003. Has the potential to get loud. Will it do so? Let's look and listen. Fingers crossed. Not exactly the loudest of landings that we've seen from Delta A330s. It was okay-ish. That must have been Captain So-So. Captain So-So. Pilot Sander. And somebody sitting on the bench, no, the bridge. Cross that bridge when we get there. Mom and a young child. Also some people at the parking lot itself, you can see. More people with young children. Let's quickly turn back. Air Canada Flight 900 arriving from Montreal up next. 7878 Dreamliner. Another bank robber. Thank you for your compliment, Evan. You put a bigger smile on my face more than when you go live. You did very well. Well, doing the best I can. Absolutely not a Spanish speaker at all. The only language other than English and a little bit of German that I've tried to undertake was via Duolingo Italian. And even that got so repetitive that halfway through the course I gave up. Nice contrail shadow over here. Not seeing the airplane itself anymore, and I need to I need to look ahead. Otherwise, if I look up and start speaking, you won't be hearing me. Also see the first airplane to the center runway coming this way now, somewhere in the distance. I saw it on flight radar, not sure if I can see it in real life already. I think I have it. That would be a 737 arriving from Munich. And in the meantime, this is KLM Flight 1918 arriving from Zurich. There's a chance that the ITA A320 arrival from Milan is going to be the next airplane after this airplane will have landed. Pipeline has a little gap, which means that we can also start following traffic to the center runway a bit more. David says that grass looks long where you are. Watch out for them muzzies. Well, as long as it's windy, the muzzies will stay away. It's usually when it's wind still that they start bugging me, literally and figuratively. But indeed, the grass is a little bit long over here. Not where I am actually standing though. Over here, I think I've had so many ground crew members standing along with me over here that the grass over here is still relatively short. If I zoom out a little, well, no, there was a bit of shadow just now. Thought I'd give you guys a wave, but it also seems a little bit of a path has formed over here, even though I haven't stood there in ages. Things are growing. Then again, there are also still puddles in the water. And if you look closely behind the grass over there, land's actually soaking with water. So much rain last months. Anyway, we'll have to wait a little bit for traffic to arrive on Polderbaan. Not too long though. Hey Russell, doing a flyby. The whole crow crew has assembled. So at least the crows have been accounted for, the grebes are accounted for, Daisy has been accounted for, Harry the Heron still MIA, and the coots. Oh. Nice cloudy backdrop. Another Star Alliance livery Lufthansa. This is flight 2302 arriving from Munich. Now we're precisely on the way. This A319 began flying in August 1997, making this a millennial. Yeah, I think that zoom remote does have its advantages. Hands are off the camera, means you don't accidentally bump into stuff. I should zoom in relatively subtly. Right. Let's turn back. First traffic to Polderbaan, and it is a looker. ITA Airways, flight 120, arriving from Milan, and it is the Giulia Friuli special livery. It's the Giulia Friuli. ITA Airways flight 120, Airbus 320. Now the Giulia Friuli is on the way from Milan to Amsterdam for an hour and 22 minutes as it is right now, and the airplane itself 15 years old, first flight May 2009. In the background, the next heavy, KLM flight 636, arriving from Las Vegas, 787-10 Dreamliner, 9 hours 24 minutes on the way, the PHBKD, 4 years old, first flight November 2019. First up, the Giulia Friuli. The beautiful lady. Now that white rear part, the tail does contain a lot of details. I thought it was unique to this livery, but it isn't. It's also in the standard blue, but it's hard to see when it's all dark blue. Everything you wish for is just a flight away. Well, yeah, let's not make that joke. I was about to make a very bad political joke. Let's refrain from doing that. The clouds are very nice. Also friendly, unlike yesterday. Look at that, beautiful. Let's turn back, have a look at our next heavy. It is a Flying AMS Live logo arriving from Las Vegas. And we already see the next airplane behind it, which is an A320 from British Airways, arriving from London Heathrow. Now this is KLM flight 636, 787-10, arriving from Las Vegas. 9 hours and 26 minutes underway, 4 years old, first flight November 2019. Now there's flex in those wings still. Spoilers go up, wingtips go down. You can see the elevators wobbling. Seems that the Polderbaan is a little bit of a bumpy road then. Anybody out there? It's a bit shaky. What happens if I let go of the camera and set everything, lock everything? Still a bit shaky, but that is because we're well into the digital zoom range. This is back to the optical zoom range, and this is back to being fully zoomed out. Using the telescope mode, not the best thing to do when it's a bit windy, but it is nice every now and then. Now we're also going to see the arrival of a G in the house pretty soon. although not landing on this runway. This BA A320 arriving from London Heathrow is in the One World livery. For now, also the last airplane to the Polderbaan. Not sure if they're going to do an inspection maybe after this landing, or maybe it's just coincidence. Polderbaan will remain open. It's one of the two preferential runways together with the Kaagbaan, which is runway 0624. Now in the meantime, AG is almost in-house. Arriving from Athens, this A321neo is a G in the air still. 3 hours exactly on the way according to flight radar. She's 2 years old. First flight May 2022. Yep, AG in the house. A lot of United airplanes over there. Next airplane to land on the center runway is arriving from Stuttgart, KLM flight 1828. 58 minutes underway. The PHEZG, which is 14 years old, had its first flight in September 2009. And another Embraer 190 is behind it, and there's also an Embraer 190 arriving from Manchester that is now on the glide slope to the Polderbaan. Big picture wise, this is what it looks like to the north. This is what it looks like to the west. This is what it looks like to the east. This is what it looks like to the south. Wind is coming from this direction, west-southwest. And our next airplane approaching is just about visible in the top of your screen. Embraer 190, KLM flight 1030 arriving from Manchester. 47 minutes underway. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight December 2015. Let's have another look at what is coming. Haven't even had a look on flight radar to to see what is coming. Now Jesus is on its way to Alicante. Not going to bother us anytime soon. Singapore is going to be a bit late. 1:40, just before 1 o'clock. So maybe landing on Polderbaan is the Emirates A380. That's good news. Making up some time. Chinese triple expected 10 minutes before the A380, so that might form a nice grand finale. See that Mr. Cole is also back in the chat. Good to see him, Lance. Hope all is well. And indeed, QJ, Jesus will not bother us on its way to Alicante. Now, if you've been liking what you've been seeing so far and you haven't already, drop a like. Help spread the content, or at least that's what they say. Not sure if it does actually, but it never hurts to help. The airplane that is now number 2 behind the Embraer 175 is a JetBlue A321neo. Oh, sunny, sunny in the UK, or at least in your part. Why don't you send some over to the Netherlands, Lance? It is a bit chilly here, with the wind constantly blowing. Where's that global warming we've been hearing so many good things about? Traffic to Polderbaan. Once again, resuming after the JetBlue A321. There's an A320 arriving from Madrid, Iberia Express. Wind on the scale of windsock. The Arnoud, goedemorgen. US Time says that the Orange Pride is expected to leave around 11:07. Let me know when it is lined up. Where's it going to? Will it take off from runway 24 or 18 left? Two narrow bodies visible right now. Somewhere behind these two airplanes we should... Oh wait, there it is already. At the 7 o'clock of the number 2. KLM flight 644 arrival from New York JFK. Well, was visible momentarily. Now back vaguely visible. That's a 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from New York JFK. Alrighty. JetBlue arriving from Boston, Massachusetts. Up next, A321neo. Well, minimal application of the reversers, just a brief moment. Already taking the first exit, giving us a last look at its behind before turning to the right. See through those see-through engines. This is Iberia Express flight 3722, an A320 regular. 1 hour 58 minutes on the way from Madrid to Amsterdam. 16 years old, first flight October 2007. Easy muck. All right, Orange Pride going to Paramaribo, second to line up on runway 24. Great. Yeah, the E2 Embraer 190 to Zurich, taking off first. Let's see how we'll manage back-to-back landing and take off. Orange Pride will be taking off from runway 24 in a moment, and landing over here is KLM flight 644, arriving from New York JFK, 787-10 Dreamliner. 6 hours and 15 minutes on their way. Must have had a bit of tailwind. 4 years old, first flight October 2019. Alrighty. It is busy at Kagwan, but there it is, the Orange Pride, taking off to Paramaribo from runway 24. Just the landing of an EasyJet A320neo by following the Orange Pride. Which is what you heard, because the blimp is pointing forwards, which also makes you pick up the sound of K1 passing by the VW. In the meantime, we're looking at a regular ass A321neo. No Giulia Friuli. This one arriving from Rome, going to the central runway. ITA Airways flight 108. 1 hour and 54 minutes on the way, this one. One of the seagulls is doing some acrobatics right over here. Daisy also smashing. Lance says, Orange Pride is climbing unusually slowly. Well, maybe it's trying to mimic the A340 to give a more authentic feel to the flight to Paramaribo. That's the only thing I can think of. Embraer 175, arriving from Brussels, flight 1704. There's the seagull. Ooh, did it catch something? I think it has. Yeah, I think it ate something. Hey, and there is Jinshin, the coot. At least one of the coots has been accounted for. So that's good. Next to arrive is KLM flight 1042, arriving from Birmingham, 737-800. 42 minutes it has flown to get here. 17 years old, first flight February 2007. Wind is blowing from this direction. Looks like open skies for the time being. You can definitely see that cloudiness forms land inward when the wind is blowing over the warmer land. And clouds start forming. In the meantime, we have two airplanes visible in the background. An A319 from EasyJet arriving from Bristol in the foreground, and it is that red airplane arriving from Iceland, now number 2. Little butt shot. Let's quickly turn back. Ladies and gentlemen, members, you know what time it is. Get out that playtime emoji. There it is. Arriving from Reykjavik. Is that another EasyJet in the background? It definitely is. Now it is 11:11, so I think still half an hour of parallel arrivals and then the center runway is going to close again. Still relatively calm over here. Pilot Sander in the distance. We have somebody now sitting on the bench. We also have some people that are slowly but surely coming this way. And in the distance, a few people at the parking lot of the Polderbaan. Next up is EasyJet flight 22515, arriving from London Luton, A319. This one is 17 years old, had its first flight in March 2007. It's just but now the Flypig is making its way over to the center runway, still behind the next airplane to the Polderbaan. So we'll first follow this airplane and then the next airplane to the center runway. Flypigs. Pete says 747 overhead. Where is it coming from? I'm not seeing anything. I do see lovely clouds though. Really nice to see. Great lighting. But no contrails to be seen. Oh wait, now there is one. That must be the Lufty. That's the Lufty. Right through the zenith. Cannot pull back the camera any further. This is the most I can now start following it again, just a little bit. Yeah, that's the Lufty 747. Providing a nice shadow. Better to follow from this orientation. Right, Flypig approaching the center runway, oink oink. Now, Here we go. Transavia, the trash. Flight 5132, arriving from Barcelona. 1 hour 44 minutes underway. 14 years old, first flight April 2010. Let's see, we have an EasyJet A320neo arriving from Milan, BGY. That looks like going to center. It's going to center. And another Embraer 175 arriving from Luxembourg, coming this way, presumably. Right. Hey there, Alan. Morning. Good to see you, mate. And Pete says that the A350 is now number 7 for landing. Right. Let's see, the A320neo is over there. The Embraer 175 arriving from Luxembourg should also become visible. There it is. Just about visible. Overshot the glide slope just a little bit by the looks of it. Slowly but surely it is coming this way. Aloha Jinshin. Howdy Paula, good to see you again. And indeed QJ, there was an A350 from Finnair. That was only early in the morning. Now 737 arriving from Stockholm. Yeah, no, that's still going to the center runway. I was about to say, is it coming to the Polderbaan? That would mean an early closure of the center runway, which is still expected to remain open for 20 more minutes or so. Howdy Martino, good morning. Tuning in from Alkmaar. So you can probably see the E2 Embraer that is now flying towards us from Uitgeest. Is that too far to the south? En goedemorgen Drew. Right. If you just joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing along the Polderbaan runway 18 right. At the moment, one of two runways being used for arrivals. We have wind blowing from the southwest to west, causing a little bit of crosswind. Airplanes sometimes a bit crabby in their approach to the runway. We haven't seen any go-arounds just yet. So no precipitation expected right in the upcoming hours. Helicopter Kestrel left of the airplane, nicely hovering. And here we have KLM flight 1710 touching down after a flight from Luxembourg. Luxembourg, Paris and London, all approximately 45 minutes away, 40 to 45 minutes from Amsterdam. Copenhagen and Dublin both an hour away. Now there's an E2 Embraer coming this way, and there also should be a BizJet flying over the city of Amsterdam on course to runway 22. Looking over the camera to see if I can spot it, but no dives just yet. Something a bit easier to see is Donald and Daisy over there. Wah, 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 wah. You can see Daisy talking to Donald. Now next up is going to be this E2 Embraer 195. Let me go back to the right focus. Arriving from Dublin, Ireland. You quack me up. Nice one, John. Wah, wah. Right. E2 Embraer KLM flight 1136 arriving from Dublin, Ireland, 1 hour and 7 minutes underway. The PH NXD, 3 years old, first flight April 2021. Hoping for a wave of the first officer. Sadly, no. Don't they look nice, those clouds? Nicely illuminated. And this one looks like a finger. It's the hand of God. It's a bit pointing. Or is it? I think it might be the latter. God giving us the finger. Screw you, Dutchies. Yeah. Higher powers communicating with us, or I've been sipping too much vodka. Might make a good thumbnail. Flipping finger. Welcome to Schiphol Airport. Just another day in the Netherlands. And that mother ducker was also over there. Yeah, they need to mow the lawn over here, cut the grass, whatever you will want to call it. Anyway, 2 airplanes visible. 3 airplanes visible. Right, we have a 3 airplane glide slope shot. Where's Jerry? Again, a day with glide slope shots and he's missing out on all the fun. Wonder what would happen if I made a separate video clip of the finger flipping cloud. Would it get demonetized or not if I use that as a thumbnail? Would be a nice experiment. Maybe blur it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I might be able to do that. Pull that off, blur my own finger, just show the clouds. Yeah, it might be worth a try. It's nice to see where the boundaries for demonetization are. Right. Let's turn back. We have one narrow body and then it's the A350 from Corendon that is about to land, on polderbound at least. So there they are. The Embraer 175 up first is KLM flight 1076 arriving from Bristol. 52 minutes underway. Hey there, Paul. Good morning. You just missed God giving us the finger. It was epic. Less than 10 minutes ago. Embraer 175 up first, arriving from Bristol, as I was saying, 52 minutes underway. 6 years old and first flight October 2017, and after that it is the Corendon World to Fly A350 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. Now, it's an Embraer 175, it landed safely. The only thing possibly worth looking out for is a wave, and the answer is no wave. No wave, no more attention. Back to the Corendon then. There it is, arriving from the Caribbean, Willemstad, Curaçao, the sea in the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, laying off the coast of Venezuela in the Caribbean Sea. This is Corendon Airlines / World to Fly flight 598. As you can see, it's an A350-900, crabbing a little bit because of the crosswind. 8 hours 25 minutes underway, the ECNZF. The airplane celebrates its first birthday this month. Began flying in May 2023. Already another airplane behind it visible at its 10 o'clock. That is Newcastle coming in. Well, KLM coming in from Newcastle, I should say. Embraer 190, and after that another Embraer 190 arriving from Glasgow. There's also one from Aberdeen, but that is going to the center runway. Now it's 11:30, so I think within 10 minutes from now the center runway is going to close again and all inbound traffic will be coming to the polderbaan. Let's first have a look at the landing of the Corendon A350. Tippy-toey. Loud question mark? Not really loud, but a nice landing regardless. More signs of God. By the looks of it, no. Yeah, no. Not seeing anything. Just nice fluffy clouds. Reminds me that I haven't eaten cauliflower in a while. Now, our good friend Choc-y, sadly going to the wrong runway. Flying over there, the DAPRI. So that's the airplane arriving from Aberdeen, I think. Our high carb chocolate friend chose the wrong runway. Or ATC assigned it to the wrong runway, which is more likely. Now I'm not seeing any traffic going to the central runway anymore, so I'm thinking maybe it's closed again in favor of all traffic going to the Polderbaan. Let's hope. Let's hope so. This is KLM flight 954 arriving from Newcastle. Quite clearly it is an Embraer 190. Look at the winglets. Relatively short and more upright than those of the Embraer 175. Easy way to differentiate the two airplane types, if not from the side due to the fuselage length. Now obviously if your Embraer 190 or 175 has big ass engines and a long fuselage and no winglets, it actually is an E2 Embraer. Next up, KLM flight 936 arriving from Glasgow. 1 hour 7 minutes underway, 12 years old. The airplane behind it is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City, flying AMS Live logo, a 787-10 Dreamliner. Now there should also be a third airplane on the glide slope already, yeah, just about becoming visible. That's a 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto. Right, two Dreamliners forming a nice combo shot there. Riju asks, can you bike to this location to see the planes? Absolutely. There is a cycling path right next to where I'm standing. That's a cycling path. And you can grab a bicycle to come here. This is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. It is a 787-10 Dreamliner, 9 hours and 13 minutes underway. The airplane is 4 years old and had its first flight in December 2019. Now, next up, another Dreamliner. KLM flight 969. Arriving from Toronto, Canada. 6 hours and 41 minutes on the way. The BHH, 7 years old. First flight August 2016. Looks like we're going to see a nice mixture of narrow bodies and heavies in the coming minutes. After this Dreamliner has landed, we'll see an A319 arriving from Stansted. Then a Transavia 737 arriving from Palma de Mallorca. And after that, another 777-300ER arriving from Vancouver, Canada. Looks like an Embraer 175 arriving from Nice will be next after that. So that's nice. Now, this is what it looks like directly to the south. This is looking to the southwest. This is looking to the west. So I'm thinking if you go to the beach right now, it should be pretty sunny. Although in the distance there's definitely a big ass cloud. Is that maybe a shower? Not sure. So not just cauliflower clouds forming over land, also over water. Good morning to Peter K, even though only here for 5 minutes. And no shagging fish here today, John. I think that's over, at least until next year. Right, EasyJet A319 arriving from London Stansted. Behind it is a Transavia 737-800 arriving from Palma de Mallorca, and after that 777-300ER arriving from Vancouver. Right, Transavia arriving from Palma de Mallorca, flight 5624. Daisy is still chilling over there. Darrell was there along with her, although I think she sent him out to do groceries or something. He's not there anymore. This is KLM flight 682 arriving from Vancouver, Canada. It's a 777-300 8 hours and 46 minutes on the way. The PHBVK. The airplane is 11 years old. Had its first flight in May 2013. Crabbing its way over here. Looking us straight in the eye. Well, no longer straight. Indeed, Ross, that's your flight. Giving me the stink eye. Yeah, absolutely. Well, which more airplanes gave me the stink eye? I think I can handle it. Much rather have airplane 175, Embraer 190, Embraer 190, Embraer 175. Nice symmetrical pattern. Embraer 190 arriving from Darlington, Britty Hopper, Delta A330, KLM 787 arriving from LAX. Alright, alright. Right, Embraer 175, Embraer 190, Embraer 190. It's all Embraers now. Much going on. Hey, little itty bitty twin jet contrail. Yeah. Just as I was about to point my camera to it, stupid clouds in the way. Lufty. Where is it? I think that might be Lufty. Noticing that with the bigger weight on the tripod now, I also need to give more counterweight to balance the equipment. And it pushes the camera down when I point it too much upward. I'm noticing that. It's a bit difficult when you're doing contrail spotting. That is Daisy. Daisy is saying hi. Now, massive big thank you to Basil for your super chat, mate. Basil writes, appreciate your efforts, buddy. Looking forward to seeing more of the best. Well, thank you so much for your kind words and for your super chat, is it? Keep confusing super sticker and super chat. Sticker is when there's an animal or character, and this is just the super chat. Thank you so much, Basil. Glad you like what you're seeing, and I hope everybody does. Hey, Liwe, also in the chat. Congratulations, buddy. Liwe is I forgot to ask, are you married or are you living together? But he is 35 years together with his missus. Today, on the very day, so I was hoping Liwe would come in the chat so I could congratulate him live. What the F? What a coincidence. That's the Polar, or what is it? It's the hybrid livery. What was it? What did it used to be? Was it Polar or DHL? Now I think it is Atlas Air. The livery is still in transition. Okay, 35 years together, and next year 30 years married. Well, regardless, very much congratulations once again, Liwe, to you and the missus. Daisy is also in the chat. Right. That was Atlas Air indeed, 7478, going to Seoul for some soul searching, which we accidentally captured. Coincidentally, I should say. Yeah, Polar with DHL together. Okay, yes, thanks for the... It's sometimes a mishmash of liveries. Anyway, first up, Eastern Airways, Britty Hopper, arriving from Teesside or Darlington, flying for KLM is KLM flight 964. 49 minutes underway. This Embraer 190 long range. Oh, go back to manual focus. Went to autofocus for Daisy. Forgot to switch it back. Now it's good again. No more focus dance. 17 years old, this airplane. First flight, January 2007. Okay, it's not an extensive wheelie. Will we be getting a wave or not? Last thing to check before headed back. No wave, okay. Well, no wave, no more attention to you then. And back to the heavies that are underway. And this is a nicely crabbing Delta A330 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. As the gear of the 777, or is it the Dreamliner behind it? Now that was a Dreamliner. 7879 Dreamliner arriving from LAX. Gear just extended. Right. So I'm also, for the most part, I think the vast majority of the stream I've been using this remote now that Lambert Blickman gave me during the weekend while I was streaming. A remote that you can attach to the tripod and allows for more accurate zooming in and out. Takes a bit of getting used to, but I've been using it for the majority of the stream now, the vast majority. Definitely more ergonomical with my hands now, my arms both below shoulder height. So if not for better zooming, then at least for better ergonomics, it is an improvement. Marijn says that this is the only commercial flight at Darlington Teesside. Yeah, I've never Googled it, but from what I understand, it is a very small local airfield. This is indeed the only big jet visiting that particular airport. Now this is KLM flight 604 arriving from LAX. It is a 7879 Dreamliner. Now 9 hours and 54 minutes on the way. The PHBHP, 5 years old. First flight August 2018. K1 has been replaced by K4. Ford Ranger Raptor, one of 3 I believe. Hey man! Hi! Yeah, that new remote allows you to really carefully zoom in and out. Also sometimes risk overshooting it. Now next up, Transavia arriving from Faro in Portugal. The airplane behind it is another Transavia arriving from Corfu. So it's two 737-800s. The first one is 14 years old, first flight March 2010, and the second one is 20 years old. Okay. Now the challenge is to try to zoom in just as quickly as the airplane is getting smaller because of it moving away. Now I'm happy to report that the sun finally starts to come out here. The wind is coming from this direction, so it's opening up finally. We're starting to get a little bit chilly over here. So I'm happy to see some warmth and sunshine actually coming this way. See that Joel is also in the chat, and Joel says flying at 800 hours from AMS to Frankfurt and then to San Francisco. Nice. So that is tomorrow then, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now this is an airplane flying for Transavia, but it is quite clearly a rental. It's not Rai Uno, but Lai Uno. Got another airplane arriving from London up next, KLM flight 1004. And behind it is an Embraer 190. Also an Embraer 170 should be turning in, arriving from Humberside. Obviously a Britty hopper from Eastern. Question is, are we able to see that Embraer 170 already? It's always a bit hard. Oh yeah, there it is. Center of the field, left hand side. Just a bit too late to form a nice 3 airplane glide slope shot though. Zooming out a bit too fast. Right. Mitchell asks, how do you pronounce the name of the airport we are filming from? And Mitchell is from Australia. It is Schiphol, and the SCH is sch. Well, CH is sch, I should say. So it's like when you need to spit. Schiphol. Yeah, Dutchies and I think Israelis do too. I think they also have the similar G sound in their language. It is a sound that foreigners on average have difficulty with producing. That's also good, Mitchell. Schiphol. Yeah. It is formerly a hard G. And yeah, easiest is when you try to spit. Something like that. Schiphol. Oh? A little bit of reverse use there. Albeit briefly. Next up is number 170 arriving from Teesside, or no, not Teesside, or it's Humberside, this one. Indeed, van Schiphol vliegen we over Scheveningen. Tongue breakers for non-Dutchies. Next up, Britty hopper, Embraer 170 arriving from Humberside. Flying for KLM as flight 972. 38 minutes on the way. The airplanes are still crabbing. The wind is still blowing from the southwest. You might not hear it as much today as yesterday because I have the blimp out again. Right. Embraer 170 is foregoing the first exit. Nice cirrus clouds up in the sky. Cumulus clouds over here. Friendly clouds. Looks nice. This is where the wind is coming from. You can see just how much more clouds there are land inward. Although looking to the northwest, you can also see those clouds. They're definitely over the North Sea, so it's not just over land. Now it is time for Heavies Fest 2024. The first of the batch of heavies coming is Emirates Sky Cargo, arriving from Aguadilla. 777 freighter, 7 hours and 30 minutes underway. Flight 9916, 10 years old. First flight was in 2013. Turning onto the glide slope in the background is Delta Airlines Flight 136. It's an A330-300. And there's another A330-200 arriving from Minneapolis. And we have an Embraer 190 sandwiched in between. Hey, so there were two ducklings after all. Awesome. Let's see, we have Mama Duck. There are two ducklings. Super cute. Little acceleration. Mom's not too far away, luckily. Meanwhile, Delta Airlines Flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan, 7 hours and 3 minutes underway. Floaty. right, nice. Not the very loudest of landings, but definitely a nice one. Also looking up and around me, no contrails to be seen just yet. Just lovely cloudy vistas, also northwest of us. This is over the North Sea. The tower that you see is Haarlem East, Spaarnwoude. Now, next up is the special Adler German Airways Embraer 190 flying for KLM and arriving from Leeds, if you're still following. The plane 51 minutes on the way to get here, 18 years old, first flight January 2006. Another 737 flying overhead to the north outbound. Hey there, Dave. Dave asks about Captain Wheelie. No, I haven't seen him yet, or her. With the crosswind, it's not a very windy, not a very wheelie-esque day, so to speak. Anja also in the chat. Good afternoon. Alvin also in the chat. What's going on, mate? All right. Positive rate. And what do we do then? Overheated gear, brakes probably. Right. Oh, other way around. Telescope mode disengaged. Once again in the shadow of a cloud. Now if you joined us just now, you missed how God gave us the finger through cloud communication. Not cloud computing, but cloud communication. He says, screw you Dutchies, I'm going home. This is Delta Airlines flight 164. It's an A330-200 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 17 years old, this airplane had its first flight in October 2006. And Alvin ill-timed his coffee and is now awake for 40 hours. You should prescribe yourself some emergency benzodiazepines so that when something like that happens you can knock yourself out. Take them with alcohol. That usually does the trick. KLM flight 767 up next. A330-300 arrival from Bonaire. 8 hours 40 minutes underway. The PH-AKB, 12 years old, first flight February 2012. The airplane behind it is arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. So we're still missing a flight from Aruba then. Otherwise, 3 consecutive airplanes arriving from the ABC Islands. Ah, come on, Alvin, don't be a pussy. Get that synergy going. Already 2 more airplanes visible in the distance. Double triple time. First up, A777-300, after that, A777-200. Now, Liwa, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships just now. You really shouldn't have. Liwa was already kind enough to gift me an umbrella this weekend, which unfortunately I cannot attach to the tripod unless it is really calm, otherwise it will induce wind vibrations. So that's still work in progress, but it should provide some well-deserved shade on sunny days, improving visibility. And if that's not enough, just now Liwa added 5 new members to the club. Thank you so much, Liwa. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to say thank you or dankjewel to Liwa for your membership. And spam us to death with all those custom emojis now at your disposal, please. They're there for a reason. KLM flight 736, 777-300, arriving from Curaçao. Now, our next airplane. Over there. Here it is. Another airplane in the background, approaching the glide slope from the east, from the right in the background. That's an Embraer 190, arriving from Berlin. This is a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil, and that is in Ecuador. And it is flying now for 10 hours and 47 minutes. The PHBQA, 20 years old, first flight September 2003. KLM flight 755. And after that, back to Embraer 190s, because you need your fix right. Can't go without for too long. Otherwise, you'll be getting what is also colloquially called the Embraer 190 jitters. Now for that too, you can use benzodiazepines, although you need a prescription. You can also just continue supplying Embraer 190s, which is what we are going to do. Here's the first one already. Not sure if we can see the second one already. It should be turning in from the left. Oh yeah, there it is. Two Embraer 190s, the first one arriving from Berlin, the second one arriving from Bergen. There's another 777-300ER arriving from Atlanta. Not yet visible, still flying base. Should approach from the left in a moment. Ronald says there are 2 Tosties inbound. Grilled cheese sandwiches. Have to make them land safely. Absolutely top priority. Well, grilled cheese, and if you're not a vegetarian, probably ham and cheese. That is the classic combination. Alrighty, German Airways. Embraer 190 arriving from Berlin, flying for KLM as flight 1774. 58 minutes on the way, 16 years old, first flight January 2008, aka just as old as Choc-y and the Orange Pride. Not really aka. That means this airplane is also just as old. We are going to be treated to a little butt shot there. Sadly, the Embraer 190s don't have those high bypass see-through engines. You can just see the distortion of the heat of the exhaust gases. More clouds, more shade, and the sun is so nearby. The sunshine, I should say. Embraer 190 arriving from Bergen, and in the background we have KLM flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, 777-300ER. Number 3 already visible at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock of the number 2. That is a Vueling A320 arriving from Barcelona. After that, another 777-300ER arriving from Lima, bringing us Lima beans. Yeah, I think this remote, once you get the hang of it, has some added value to not using it, both ergonomically and videographically. Hey, good news, 747 confirmed for Polarbound Air China cargo. The first 747 of the show, or at least inbound. We saw that DHL Polar Atlas Air outbound. Right, so there's a Vueling A320 sandwiched in between two KLM 777-300 ERs. This is KLM flight 622 up first, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. 7 hours and 40 minutes underway. The PH BVC, 15 years old, first flight May 2009. Let's look and listen. Ooh, Harry the Heron, he has been accounted for. There he is, made a flyby just now. I thought I heard somebody, but that is just Donald. And he's like, hey, what the F are you doing, mate? I was sitting there. Harry the Hypnotizing Heron. Next up is Vueling, arriving from Barcelona, flight 8309. 1 hour 54 minutes underway. This airplane is 10 years old and had its first flight in May 2014. And another 777-300 behind it. Little baby boy tractor, it is blue, carrying some stuff. Next up, KLM flight 744, arriving from Lima in Peru, giving us Lima beans in a few minutes. 11 hours and 35 minutes underway, the PHBVV. 3 years old, first flight December 2020. Indeed, Evan, survival of the fittest, that is Mother Nature. Next up, Aer Lingus in the old standard livery, with behind it Lot Embraer 195 arriving from Warsaw. have a third airplane that is turning in. That is a 737 arriving from Milan. Right, let's have a look at Aer Lingus landing. Damn, it's the IDAM. Now, are we going to stay dry over here? That's what I'm beginning to wonder a little bit. Why is that, you might ask? This is more or less where the wind is coming from. Not too sure about what I see there in the distance. Now let's first have a look at lot flight 263, an Embraer 195 arriving from Warsaw. Right, next airplane to arrive is a 737 arriving from Milan. Let's also have a quick look at the current status quo. We have Air China arriving in a few minutes, and Emirates is still expected before 1 o'clock, so I think we might see them both on this runway. Now this is, let's see, let's turn that back to an hour ago. Is anything forming? We are right over here, so I think we should be good in terms of rain. Choc-y is triple. Already in the clouds. Yeah, and a KLM 737 just landed. Oh wait, that was Finnair. It was not a Chinese triple, it was Finnair, the A350. Actually. Right, well, let's focus on what we can see best, and that is two airplanes on the glide slope right now. EasyJet A320neo arriving from Edinburgh. And behind it we have Delta Airlines Flight 144 A330neo. Shit is still vibrating like mad, even though I have dynamic image stabilizer enabled, and I also have both the pan and tilt axis locked right now. Evan says, mention that I am donating 10 cents for every like you get in the next 15 minutes. Liking and unliking the stream doesn't count. Well, start the clock. It is 12:34 now and I'm counting 358 right now. So that is 15 minutes and 33, that is 48-ish. We were at 358, 365. Jeffrey says A380 goes to center. Indeed. Probably the first airplane to go to center then. Right. The next airplane, Delta Airlines Flight 144, arriving from Seattle, Washington, 9 hours and 8 minutes on the way. It is an A330 Neo. 2 years old, first flight January 2022. Two airplanes behind it on the glide slope already visible. First one being a 737-800, arriving from Madrid, KLM. Well, unlike yesterday, it's not a Delta loud reverser day, it seems like. Bluest part of the sky is where the airplanes are coming from right now. Behind me, left and right of me, more clouds now than there were before. This is KLM Flight 1502 in the foreground, arriving from Madrid, the first of the two airplanes that you see, 737-800, and the airplane behind it is Norwegian. Will it have a grumpy face? It doesn't. Alrighty, Sarah also in the chat, good morning. No others who have joined in the meantime, welcome to the show. So the Air China Cargo 747 will be coming to the Polderbaan. The A380 is going to land on the center runway. Probably the first airplane to land on that runway. Right now everything is still coming to Polderbaan. Probably until 1 o'clock or something. Right, Norwegian up next. Be a city flyer after that. And it is 12:38 now, so still 10 more minutes. And every like that you are going to give, and not unlike, is meaning 10 cents by Evan. He will give 10 cents for each like in 15 minutes. starting 3 minutes, 12:33 local time, so that is until 12:48 if I did my math correctly. I think we started at 358 likes or something. This is Norwegian arriving from Oslo. It is a 737-800. Bland, no grumpy face on the tail. Just a standard livery. Counting 402 likes already. So that's the trick to get more likes. It seems to work a treat. Johan has to leave. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. And indeed, Zenzi, it is very disappointing, to put it mildly, with the weather. Also, the soil in the fields have puddles still, or I should say again. Ground satiated with moisture. And there is the Air China 747. In the foreground we have BA City Flyer arriving from London City. I'm going to forgo it. I'm going to stick with the 747 for the time being, particularly with such a nice cloudy backdrop. Let's fixate the tripod on both axes. Get as little as possible shakes. There it is, Air China Cargo, arriving from Chengdu, China. Flight 1001, 9 hours and 47 minutes underway. This 747-400 freighter is 18 years old and had its first flight in April 2006. Registration Bravo 24676. Also a massive big thank you to once again JD for gifting 5 memberships, 5 new members courtesy of JD. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to say Dankeschön, Herr JD. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Now, 416 likes and we still have 6 more minutes on the clock. Evan is going to donate 10 cents for each of your likes. And it has to be a true like, not a like and unlike. I think we started the count at 358. So that is 50 in the pocket, or is that 60? 60. There's still 6 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, thrilled to see that one queen, at least one crabbing queen, is coming to the Polderbaan. The A380 sadly is going to the other runway. The upshot is that from over here with this camera we can still see it decently. Although, I have to, truth be told, I have to do my best not to start shaking myself and induce more vibrations. Actually a bit cold with the continuous wind and a lot of sunshine behind the clouds. Hopefully she's heavy, hopefully she'll get loud. Let's look and listen. Not the loudest of landings, but definitely a nice one. And just look at those flaps. Look very shiny. Harry also doing a photo bomb. Terrific. Little butt shot. There they go. Flaps are retracting. Beautiful airplane, beautiful landing, although not the loudest of landings. But thank you so much, Evan, also for your super sticker just now. I totally agree. Smiling face with hard eyes. Queen of the skies. This one arriving from China, Chengdu. Now, let's turn around. Third consecutive day it is approaching. Right after this airplane. KLM B773. Talking about nice azzurro. The day before yesterday I used it as a thumbnail and then rain interfered. Yesterday it was also coming and rain interfered. This is the third consecutive day it is visiting Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. And this time the rain is not going to interfere with us filming its arrival. It is the Icelandair 100 years independence livery A350, 757-300, the pencil. Now, Ita has a beautiful azzurro. I have to say, I like the dark blue on this airplane as well. The stripe is the finishing touch. Icelandair flight 500. 2 hours and 43 minutes it has taken it to get here from Reykjavik. The airplane began flying in February 2000, making it 24 years old. Let's look and listen. Alrighty, the pencil has landed. And I think Evan's 15 minutes of fame are about to finish. He started with the challenge at 12:33 local time. It is now 12:47, so that is almost over now. I think we started the count at 358 likes. I now have 443 over here. Evan says, got things to do later, peace out, bro. Oh. Oh, what's he like? Yeah, something came up, gotta go, see ya, bye bye. Right. Now I'm going to stick around until the A380 has landed. I am struggling to control my own shivers. things can only get better over here in the Netherlands. Just 3 more weeks and then we'll have the longest day on the Northern Hemisphere and days will get shorter again. So what could go wrong? Just used to heated gloves 12 months a year. Makes it easy, don't have to decide what you should wear. You always wear your winter parka and you take your heated gloves along with you. Ah yeah, indeed, that was the special livery that I was referring to back when you visited me a couple of weeks ago, JD, indeed. Right, so we've got a slew of narrow bodies that is coming to the Polderbaan. A380 is on its way to the center runway. Should be somewhere in the background. Probably still a bit too far out, particularly with the cloudiness. Right, Marissa has to go. That is very unfortunate timing wise. But yeah, if somebody's at the door. Three airplanes visible. A320neo arriving from Palma de Mallorca, EasyJet. Embraer 190 arriving from London City behind it, and flying parallel to it, the number 3, flying parallel to the A380 I mean, is Vueling. Let's give it a go. We can already see the number 3. Ah yeah, no. That was easy. I was thinking, are we able to see the A380? Well, rather easily. So there it is already. De Clementia, goedemiddag. Perfect timing. Embraer 190 arriving from London City, and Vueling arriving from Alicante. The Vueling from Alicante is flying parallel to the A380, which already looks a bit closer by, but that is its sheer size. The reason it now looks so pixelated is because I am zoomed in AF. This is what you can see when fully zoomed out, and this is about the top end of optical zoom. It's going to be the last airplane for today's show. The number 10 on flight radar, tracked by 340 people. Rookie numbers, we can do better than that. We have more viewers watching right now. It is flight 147 from Emirates, the A380 in the standard livery. Our members have access to the updated ribbon tail new standard livery, which is still being rolled out. 6 hours and 18 minutes on the way so far. Normally this airplane would be around 6.5 hours on the way. Okay, Evan, I will wait for around 3 more minutes. How about I keep filming until this airplane has landed? Now this airplane is 12 years old and had its first flight in May 2012. Oh. What you might pick up on the mic is an outbound flight to Billland, dropping off some bills. Bills that have misbehaved and are forced to live in Billland for the rest of their lives. There it is, the Emirates A380 Super. Silver lining is that there isn't a lot of heat wave distortion due to the relatively low temperatures and the absence of sunshine. Makes that we can follow the apartment building with wings rather well as it has landed on the center runway. Not sure if you can pick up the reversers. I'm hearing them, but with the blimp and the Sennheiser pointing forwards, I'm not sure if you guys can pick it up. Right, well, the Eagle has landed, and on that terrible disappointment, it is time to end. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I had a wonderful time here. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you like what you saw and you haven't already, don't forget to add to the number of likes and be sure to subscribe if you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams. I'll be back later in the week, hopefully when the weather will allow me to. Not sure yet if it's going to be on Thursday already. Time will tell. Hope to see you then. A big thank you to everybody for your support, the super chats, the super stickers, the gifted memberships, those people who became a member themselves, and also a big thank you to the moderators for keeping the chat friendly and accessible. Thanks everyone, hope to see you in the next one. See ya and take care, bye for now.